Are you just trying to grow your business or find your career path or somehow fulfill a sense of meaningful life and purpose, especially at work? And yet here we are in a planet that seems to be in unbelievable, unpredictable rock and roll and feels a little bit scary, like maybe that's not possible. Well, welcome to my channel. My name is Sonia Choquette. We are in the midst of probably what will be one of the most, if not the most, transformational years ever in 2024. And it is time to wake up all of our potential, use our full faculties, learn how to read the energies of life accurately, and really grow into the full, empowered, creative beings that we are. This quite possibly could be the best year of your life if you don't fight what's happening, don't freak out, and really study and move into what in me is being activated. And if I really choose to lean into it, what possibilities are there? If you're new to my channel, I'm happy you're here. If you've been with me for a while, welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about how to respond to this great transformational year and learn how to read the energies as they are unfolding, read the life that we have in a deep and accurate way so that we can feel empowered and we can experience a very productive, creative, prosperous life. What's happening on the planet is not intended to keep us down or hurt us or in any way demoralize us. What's happening is a great invitation to grow and leave behind our tendencies, behaviors, perceptions, patterns, and beliefs that keep us victimized and limited and disempowered. If anything right now, what I hear from people more than any other is that things are out of my control. I can't respond. I can't manage this. But that's not true. What is true is that we have to change and we have to calm ourselves internally and begin to connect with what resources we have that haven't been used, to connect with what internal awareness is available that perhaps we've been ignoring, and to let go of patterns and habits and beliefs that have been put upon us, that have been developed by others, that have been reinforced by powers that try to control us, that say we have no ability to influence our lives. So today, let's talk about how we can wake up those internal faculties and use our resources in maybe the most practical way, which is in work, in our business. That's our survival. If we feel like our survival is grounded, then we're available to the rest. But if our basic needs aren't being met comfortably, if we feel scared, if our resources are not stable, if our spirit doesn't like to go to work, it's really hard to feel good in life. And so that's where we're going to start. It's some very practical resources, some very practical areas of our life where we want to get clear and learn how to read the energies of our life unfolding in an accurate, clear, grounded, empowered, and truly spirited and spiritual way. So the first thing to recognize is nothing that is going on right now is bigger than you can manage. Although I'm sure that a lot of it feels like it is. We are in the midst of change. The planet is changing. The atmospheres are charged. Everything is up in the air. So what we have to do to respond to that is to be grounded and to find our center. And that center is not here. Your center, the area, the being in you that can actually track life accurately, to recognize where to move forward and where to step away, where to align and where to disconnect is in your heart and it's in your gut. So ask yourself, am I in my heart? Do I even know how to go there? Or am I just so in my head and so defended? Because if that's the case, you lose power. If you're in your head, you're going to be in a reactive mode. If you're in your heart and in your belly, in your body, you're going to be able to have an ability to stand and observe without being pushed around or absorbing the energies that are coming at you and internalizing them as personal. You can observe and respond. That's what reading life accurately invites you to do. Read the energies, perceive what's going on without internalizing it, and respond rather than react. Because when you respond consciously, creatively, you take your power back. Now, in a practical sense, how can you use that at work? I had a client the other day share with me that she had been applying for a new position at work that was not quite management, but was certainly an elevated position, and it required that she go through a series of interviews in this very large company. So the first interview went really well. There was an energetic click. It's a vibrational match with her interviewer. Is a woman who got her. She got the woman. They laughed a lot. They were very excited, very creative together. She was free to share everything she could offer. And that person who was interviewing her received her energies with an open heart. And it was great. So that was interview number one. Interview number two was very similar. The woman was less open, but she wasn't defended and guarded. My client, who had been learning how to read energy accurately, could assess that, and she could make the decision, and did, to slow down, to be calm, to find the vibration of the person interviewing her, to match that with her breath, so they kind of breathe together. And do you know when you breathe with someone together, you entrain the energies back and forth and you create a rapport. So after a few breaths and a little bit of slowing down, her interviewer became more present and more available. And once again, a lively and animated interview unfolded, and her interviewer was very excited and said, "You'll be perfect. We'll send you on to your final interview. And I just think our company's going to be so grateful to have you on board." Third interview came. Now, this time she met with a very different energy. Now, granted, recognizing her own energy, this is interview number 3. She'd been going through this eliminative process for a while now. It's 2-3 months into it. And she had a lot of tension. She wrote on this third interview, and she was told that quite a bit. But when she walked in the door, she met with a gentleman who was on the phone, shooed her to the seat, agitated. She could tell he was not present. She could tell by reading his energy accurately, not available, not particularly even that interested in being her interviewer. This was all very quickly assessed by both her outer senses, observing his behavior, and what her heart told her. So she got scared. Now, the first thing I've taught my students when they get scared is to breathe out the fear. So she just took a breath in through her nose while he was still on the phone. And the breath that you take when you're in fear is you take a breath that's a longer exhale than inhale. So she inhaled to the count of 4. And then exhaled, just kind of placing her hand gently on her belly, not something that attracted attention, but just breathed out to the count of 6. And she was able to do that 3 or 4 times before he hung up and said, "So tell me about yourself," which is not exactly the easiest thing to do when you're with someone that you can feel energetically isn't really that interested in what you have to say. So again, reading the energy, she said to him, "Well, I'm excited to be here. Is this a good time?" Because I can really observe that you have a very busy day and that it might be not easy to have a talk with me right now, but I'm very excited to be here. Well, that caught him off guard because it told him right away that she was perceptive and unafraid to be real, unafraid to say, look, this is what's going on. Because part of reading life accurately and part of responding to the energy you are actually in, I call a keen sense of the obvious. We deny what's happening, then we lose power. When we deny or dismiss what we're feeling, we give our power to others and we put ourselves at a disadvantage. So just in that, taking that risk, she assessed, look, chances are if I don't acknowledge what's really going on, I'm not going to succeed in this interview because he's not here to really be present in this interview. And it caught him off guard. It definitely surprised him. And she was poised and grounded and able to hold her breath and breathe with him and smile. And the consequences, he got back in his body. He settled down. He got called out in a very gentle way. And he was somehow quickly reminded, without any tension, that she had a lot going on this and that it mattered to her and that he was in a position to either be helpful or treat her like she didn't matter. Because she acknowledged what was going on, he was able to recalibrate. Now, it was a risk, but she said afterwards, the alternative is to pretend none of that was actually happening, to fumble through the interview feeling resentful and afraid and come across other than how I really am. And as it turned out, he did say, you know what, it is a bad time, but we can begin the interview and we can reschedule for later, which they did, and she got the job. So what does that tell you? Is that one of the things we're being asked now in life with the change of this planet and the huge shifts going on is to be real and to be unafraid and non-reactively real, to be grounded in our bodies, to be centered in our breath, to be self-loving, but recognize other people are struggling too, and that we don't have to otherize them or see other people as things that we have to manage or defend ourselves against, but rather people that we want to connect with. The secret for her was the shared breath, being calm and grounded and centered in your body, and knowing what she wanted, which was a conversation that would be present and available. These seem like a tall order, but it's one of the reasons our planet is changing. It is kicking us out of that kind of fake, guarded, ego, defended, checked out, non-reactive, and non-available in our heart energy that has dominated this planet and got us into so much trouble. We can read the energies and respond to the energies of life in a more real, authentic, accurate way in this great transformation. And believe me, that will bring you tremendous success. Seems risky, and you have to learn to do it in a way that is calm and relaxed. So it takes a little practice, just take that breath in through the nose. It even helps if you're not in your heart to put your hand on your heart and to get centered and to know that the me that's operating in life is this beautiful spirit in my heart, and that I have all my faculties, including let's acknowledge what's actually going on in around me. Let's not deny it, pretend, bat it away, go unconscious. Let's be real. That is a huge invitation for you to excel this year in life, and especially in business. To be able to be present in your heart, aware, read the energies of the room, don't deny them, and know that you have the power to respond and to take charge by being real, by being in your heart, by paying attention.